Does workers' compensation cover travel to and from work? Workers' compensation in Colorado provides benefits for people who suffer injuries on the job and work-related illnesses. If you suffer injuries in an accident while driving on the job, you may be covered by workers' compensation. Among the rules governing the Colorado workers' compensation system is the coming and going rule, which limits coverage for most worker injuries sustained while driving or traveling to and from work. Workers' compensation is generally the exclusive remedy for workers injured or developing a work-related illness while on the job. The key to unlocking workers' comp benefits is whether you were on the job, and where that line is drawn. When you are on a job site or your work location performing work, it is easy to determine whether you are within workers' comp coverage. When you travel related to work, the question can be more complex. Like other personal injury claims involving your employer, the facts in your case can determine who may be at fault for your injuries and who may be liable for your acts. Commute versus job. The coming and going rule in Colorado workers' compensation divides work comp coverage between work-related travel and typical commute to and from work. Workers' compensation generally covers injuries incurred while traveling as part of your job duties. Many professions require workers to travel as part of their essential job duties. These include outside salespeople, police officers and other first responders, delivery drivers, truck drivers, on-call employees, home service professionals and nurses. If you sustain injuries in a car accident while traveling as part of your work, you may receive workers' compensation benefits. Generally, this rule excludes coverage for injuries caused by an accident while commuting to or from work. An employer's obligation to cover workers' compensation benefits extends to work time and duties performed on behalf of the company. Commuting is typically not part of the employer's obligation unless the employer pays you for commute time. Employers generally are also not required to cover benefits for accidents incurred traveling to and from a restaurant for lunch or if you run personal errands even while on the clock. Workers' compensation and work trips. You may be eligible for benefits even if you sustain injuries on a work trip during a recreational activity related to the work trip. Assessing your work comp claim. Workers' compensation insurance coverage applies when the injury occurs within the course of employment. In many circumstances involving travel, it can be unclear whether the accident occurred within the course of your employment. The best thing you can do is talk to an experienced work comp attorney about your situation. Your attorney can evaluate your situation, determine the potential avenues to recover compensation and advocate for you in any insurance negotiations. If you filed a claim and your employer's work comp insurance carrier denied it because you were traveling, you should consult with a lawyer immediately. What if I was injured in an accident and my employer denies I was on the job? An experienced injury attorney will consider all possible options and pursue the path that will give you the opportunity to receive full and fair compensation. In some cases, the employer and its insurer wrongfully denies your claim and you have a valid workers' compensation claim for benefits under Colorado law. Your work comp attorney can advocate for your claim with the insurance company, the Department of Workers' Compensation and even in court if necessary. If your employer denies the workers' comp claim and you do not have a valid workers' compensation claim under Colorado law, you may have other sources to recover for your injuries and damages. If you were injured due to somebody else's negligence, you can pursue negligent parties and their insurance companies. You may be able to pursue claims under your own insurance policies, such as medical payments coverage or uninsured motorist coverage. Additionally, your employer may be liable for your injuries under personal injury laws even if the accident is not within the scope of workers' compensation. You deserve to talk to a knowledgeable attorney about your situation and understand your rights before making any decisions about your next steps.